Hello everyone, today we're going to look at the X, so deletion of Laci Peterson, okay? A lot of you probably know a lot about this case. It's cropped up again. I don't know, what I know is what I'm going to tell you, and I also have Wikipedia up for me. But first, before I just read that little bit of Wikipedia. So I understand she was a wife, and I'll get to wherever they were living. They were definitely in the States, and she was pregnant at the time, and I think this is a case of like years ago. It's not like a new one, a couple of years ago, and her husband was found guilty. Now, what I find interesting is that there's apparently a Netflix documentary on this. I have not seen it. I don't know if it's on Netflix UK or the Netflix I've got, but I might look into it. But I thought I'd do the read, and at the same time, I think if I say Scott, I don't know why I'm saying Scott. I think it's Sam. Hang on a sec. No, it is Scott. So who's Sam's husband? There's a Sam husband in a case. Who's Sam? Yeah, so I don't know. Okay, so Scott, it is Scott. And it seems like something's brewing with him to appeal, to maybe come out and express his innocence. I don't know, there's two dynamics. There's the Netflix documentary, and at the same time there's this thing about him being innocent, and I think it's not the first time, or he's always pleaded innocence, and there's been a big question around that, even though he was convicted. Disclaimer, this is for entertainment purposes only. Please use your own fact finding. A couple of weeks ago I did do a reading for members, tier 2, on the Amanda and Tony case, so if you're interested in that, you'll see that there as well. On Patreon there's the Black Dahlia, and it will be released to the YouTube members as well, so if you're interested in that. And also please do support the channel. If you wanted to see continued content and you're enjoying it, you can like, and you can comment, you can subscribe, and any other way that you wish to help the channel. So the reason I am pulling up Wikipedia, and I looked into it a bit, because when I knew it was an old case, hang on a sec, let's just check this is recording. When I knew it's an old case, I really didn't want to do your heads in by coming into it without knowing anything. I know her body was found in the, and I'm trying to make sure I don't say triggering words, it's very difficult, triggering for the platform, in a bay, washed up. I think it was months later. That's just me on a psychic thing coming through months later. I am not sure. He apparently also had a mistress. She ended up coming forward. I think her name was Amber Fry or Fly. Like I said, this is like little snippets, and I decided that I actually want to look at the energy, because with the Netflix going on, and then you've also at the same time got him appealing, there's a big energy around this. Now it can either dissipate and not hit very big, or it can hit very big, and at the moment I'm not feeling that it is hitting largely, but I don't know if it is in the States. Worldwide, not quite yet. It's not got that energy behind it, but there's an interesting dynamic of, I think, the timing that The Chosen, either to release that Netflix documentary or the appeal, it's going hand in hand. Even if, for example, the appeal is obviously Scott appealing his innocence, so it's Team Scott kind of thing. The Netflix might be actually very supportive of the family, I don't know, but even if it's two different dynamics, there's an energy there that's kind of like, there's an organization that is really strategic and knowing that one or the other is going to be coming out. So they've played on that date, if that makes sense to you. That's what I get with that. That's me on a psychic download. So I don't really know what to title this, because some people might think that I'm coming into it without, like, just to see exactly, you know, maybe something repetitive you've seen. But so she was born, Laci was born May 4th. Can I just say my jaw is extremely tight right now and paining me, extremely tense. And it feels like as if I'm being shown something's put in the mouth and it's keeping the mouth very wide open. And then there's either a tape or there's a rope that's tied around the thing that's kept in the mouth. And all around the sort of the mouth that's open, the jaw, all around the back of the head. And the mouth is open. So, you know, when you get like a locked jaw, that is what I'm getting. That pain is there and I'm seeing that. So I'm getting downloads right now. Okay, so let's just go here. She was born in May 1975. They believe she might have been X'd on December 4th. So Christmas Eve 2002. Her husband Scott was born in 24th of October 1972, so 3 years between them, and was convicted in 2004. That sounds like 2 years, but it's not, because it was December 2002, and I believe that they found her body a few months later. I don't know. Laci was pregnant, 8 months pregnant, with the first child at the time of the death. She disappeared in 2002 from the couple's home in Modesto, California, after Scott reported her missing. The next year, her remains and those of her unborn son, whom the couple had planned to name Connor, were discovered on the shores of France. Oh my God, that means the baby must have come out. Do you think the baby came out? Or hers with... Okay, so let me finish this and let me tell you what I'm seeing right now. Discovered on San Francisco Bay, and that's when he was arrested, charged with 2 counts. First degree for the wife and second degree of Connor. I think what I understand, his alibi, by the way, and he got the DP, total X deletion penalty, but then it was changed to life in prison. What did I just want to say? His alibi was that he was going to go to golf, but then he went fishing. He'd just recently bought a boat. I'm getting so many downloads. I feel like I'm going to miss stuff here. I hope I don't. So just bear with me. The day she was found, where the remains were washed up, there was parts of her body missing. I don't know, I think it's something that could bring you to tears. So I don't know if the Netflix documentary might cover this, or if they did in the trial. Like, she was weighted down, and the visions are really disturbing. She was weighted down, and so as the body tries to float up, eventually parts of the body, because of the waves, when they're brushing against your body, even from the below and the top, right, parts of your body start to go, and the way you weight it down, some of the parts that are maybe chained down come off. So maybe actually Connor was still in her. I'd say the arms were not there, maybe the head. And so they might eventually find some parts that they're able to track back. It might be skeletal parts. But it was the weather, it was kind of like the wind that really helped it. So it would have been I'm not saying that it was a worldwide Guinness World Book Records, but it wasn't a settled weather. It was very windy that day and it got washed up. And then also I'm getting that just prior to that, there was actually a false alarm of them thinking that they might have found her. I presume they were using this bay because that's where he said he'd gone fishing. So they were doing a search there. But there was a false alarm in terms of something, thinking they'd found her. Maybe it was something else that they'd found. It wasn't her. And then they did find her. I'm still very tied into that behind the scenes energy of the Netflix documentary and his peel coming out together. There is something there, by the way, so I'm just giving you the heads up on that. 1 second. So he's done it. Okay. Allegedly, my opinion, he is guilty because some people think that he could be innocent. I understand that there might have been burglars on the other side during that time or something like that. And that was the question. The problem here that I get is that there's no actual strong, solid DNA to tie him to him doing that. I'm getting that, do you know what? I'm not sure if he X'd her by strangulation, but also sitting like pressure on her stomach, and possibly given her something, but there's like a regurgitation that I'm getting here. But I think that that's what happened. And I feel like his motive is money. Now, Laci might have started being like, I don't know why I'm so nervous. I think it's because of the disturbing images. I'm not nervous. I don't know why I said I'm nervous, but probably because I'm not flowing as fast in the way I normally flow. But it can be difficult with these things. I think the motive was money. I think the motive was if he sought to get a divorce, it was not the right time to face saying that, because there wasn't talks of a divorce. Okay. The other download that I got earlier was that he'd planned this at least 2 weeks earlier. And he thought of this, and there might be text messages that don't say necessarily I'm going to do this or something, but the thought, there's something like a text message that might do like a ting, like a light bulb moment where, do you know, it's kind of like, I wish I was single, or they could just disappear for a moment. Something, there's a text message back in September that could indicate he thought of it back in September. Something in September. I don't know if it's mentioned in the trial, but there was maybe even signs that we're having issues in September, but there was never a discussion of divorce. And for him, it was a difficult time. You know who I'm thinking of here, Chris Watts. A difficult time to say that he doesn't want to be in the relationship. He obviously was having this mistress on the side who claims that she didn't know that he was married. In fact, I think it was said that he told her that he just lost his wife. Which, one of the questions, if I got time, is, did she ask how he lost his wife? I don't know. Another question is, how far back did he lose his wife? I did watch like a 5-minute and then a 3-minute clip of him on Diane Sawyer. And I presume a lot of people feel uneasy with that interview as well. I'm getting from, I do want to tap into his energy right now. I hope I don't forget. So let me continue with the motive. If he went through the divorce, her family obviously would not be very happy. Like, look at the timing, etc. And he'd need to split all the money and everything, and also the whole divorce proceeding is going to take money as well, and it's very long hold. At the same time, I'm not sure if, a bit like Suzanne Murphy, if Laci had like a inheritance or something of a solid foundation behind her that is also coming through. But I do believe the motive was very much financial. Yeah, there's definitely what I was getting to, Laci, where I said Laci was, do you know where, you know when you become pregnant, it's like, can we fix the spare room, make it this color, get these clothes, get the cot, and it was kind of like, for him, it was kind of like added pressure, and she was being quite fussy about it, which is natural, but at the same time, it was adding pressure and pressure. And he was already kind of in this state of mind. There was also something about the past that was being brought up, okay? It was definitely a judgment call about her being pregnant, and it's interesting, very strong cards. Look at this. He definitely thought that he could get away with it. He definitely thought he could get away with it. And I do believe the motive was around the money. I am going to go with my psychic download as well. But something happened in the past here that was not turned over. So I wonder if, like, maybe he, a long time ago, maybe when they were dating or something, that he cheated and it wasn't really let go of, or something happened, or maybe a prior miscarriage, something happened in the past that was kind of like not letting go of stuff, and old stories just coming up, and he became jaded, and he really thought that he could get away with it, probably because he had a mistress on the side and he was getting away with that. But I don't know how long he knew Amber. I think it would have been only like a few weeks, or like maybe 4 weeks or something. Very strong cards. Okay, so motive is around money. I don't know if she had something behind her. Allegedly, my opinion, he did do it. The card's confirmed. Now, let's just go into... so yes, I get a confirmation on my psychic download that he did think about this, doing this prior, if he had a window of opportunity in September. It looks like September there was a window of opportunity, but there was a thought around it. So I do get that. September was specifically a download to me when I was thinking of doing this reading. The issue with this case, I'm going to tell you straight up, is going to be the DNA. If they can't tie him solidly to the DNA, and he gets a different judge, which is very likely, who's very focused when it comes to, well, the X penalties off the thing right now, life without parole. I don't know if it's without parole. I don't know if it's appealable later, or how many years it is. Because they tell you like life and 25 years, and they keep, sometimes there's so many sentences, you end up with like, they end up with 75 years or something. So I don't know what it is there. And sometimes you can appeal along the way, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes there's parole. So that's what I mean. But I think two things. The judge, if the judge changes and the judge is fixated on DNA tying someone specifically, even if all other stuff is solid, unless it's like footage that he X'd her, he might, I don't know if he gets out or what happens there, but his appeal, is it for a retrial, might be taken on. I am getting a strong, the family don't want that. I also get a download that his parents know, but they're kind of in denial, like it's their son. But deep within them and their intuition, they know. But it's kind of like the human aspect of them in denial. The timeline is also a bit hard. So I think his actions of what he was doing and the way he presented himself made it look very fishy. So whether it was like, for example, not turning up or searching, or even driving past to look at the searches but not coming down to search. Do you know that kind of energy of being very fishy? I'm getting him like driving, and I don't know why I get like a white car or truck or something, and he's driving where nearby where they're searching. So I don't know if they've seen this, but fishy behavior like that. I do know that when he went to the vigil, he actually told Amber he was in Paris celebrating, I don't know, on a family holiday or something, but actually he was at the vigil. So I do think he kept tabs on the search, but he wasn't necessarily doing the searching, or he didn't speak out or something. Something around that is very much coming in for me. What else did I want to cover? 1 second. I've got a... So he must have been arrested months later. I don't know what they tied to him, to be honest. So if you do know, let me know. What did they tie to him? The energy of this organization that's behind one of those, the Netflix or the whoever's trying to appeal his innocence, is very interesting with the timing. They're kind of batting off the other. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's an important note here. It's a very important note. And the purpose is for this to come very much alight to help. Do you know at the moment there's Lucy Letby going on, and you can let me know in the comments. Do you think she's innocent, or do you think it's just that we can't apprehend someone doing that many crimes? Because at the moment there's a lot of people that are starting to come forward thinking she's innocent. But what I don't understand is apparently, unless what they showed on the news, was not right was she actually wrote certain stuff like this in her diary that they found. So let me know in the comments what you think of that. I wanted to put it in a poll, but if you don't know about Lucy, let me look her name up. And she's in prison at the moment. She was a nurse. Yeah, it's interesting. They might find some remains, maybe like the skull or something later. There's something that they might find later, but there's also, you know, I was getting the tape or the rope. So if they can get DNA off that, it will help, but I am not sure. I think there's a strong probability that this might go fair. There might be a win for him to get some, it's like he's having an itch to speak. It's kind of like, did he speak at his last trial, or did he, what do they say, waiver his right to do his last statement? I feel like there's an itch for him to speak. He thinks that he's gonna, let's just see his energy right now. Yeah, he thinks he's gonna be successful. Yeah, Sun again, he thinks he's gonna be a successful. He's very optimistic. He's waiting for the time frame now and a response on whether he can, I don't know if there's an appeal, if it's an appeal or how they go about this. I don't know what it is, but I know that there's a plea for his innocence. So will they retrial, or will they just say submit if they agree? So I think he's waiting for an agreement. He's very optimistic. Show me his energy right now. I was doing this because I wanted, but he is holding the lies. He is holding the lies. He thinks he's going to come up with a victory here, but he is still, there is lies. I was doing this for a reason. Yeah, he wanted to speak. He really wanted to speak. Show me how he's feeling right now. So this was 10 years ago, right? He's feeling optimistic against the life in prison thing that's happening, and if he could get that new judge, all right? At the same time, he feels quite heavy burdensome. I think he might be looking to, he's discussing with a lawyer. He might be seeking a female lawyer. I don't know if he had a female lawyer. I think, to be honest, I think if he gets a strong lawyer, like some of these that we know, do you know the big cases where people are guilty, but the lawyer's been such an incredible lawyer? He could get a retrial. I don't know what that would mean when you've been given life in prison. Can you tell, can you see how much flowing now the channeling is when I've not, and now I'm remembering the images, not channeling Laci in the images that I was getting, and I didn't want to go into too much description, and my jaw and throat is blocking up again. But I think he's got a good chance. Show me. There's the choice, so there is possibly a good chance. There could be a plea deal. So I don't know how this would work, but for example, if they don't find him, the judge might look at it from the back and say, you know what, there's no real solid thing, but he's definitely, he seems like the person that's doing it. It's kind of like the snake behind this, all right, energy. And so legally, can someone tell me on what grounds he was imprisoned? Because I think if it goes to trial now, was as if it just happened, there would have been a good possibility, yeah, that he would be home right now, that he could have got off. You know what I mean? So I don't know on what terms he was imprisoned. I think it's just to do with, you know, he goes fishing, his alibi changed, he was acting fishy and stuff, but I don't think there's anything, he wasn't home at the time. You know, also Christmas Eve, come on now, you're going fishing or wherever you're going, because I think he said that she was going to be preparing stuff because his mother's coming over. She's going over to the mother, so she was cooking or maybe cleaning. Yeah, so how is it? He also thinks he could make a bit of a money. So I wonder if there's going to be, yeah, I wonder if there's going to be something about a new project possibility for him. So this is where I mentioned the two energies, which is a very strong reason I did this reading, as well as also just honing in on the motive, really confirming it was him, because you know there can be twists and stuff in this, although people can be swayed a little bit. That's why, although some people might be saying, well, it's a bit obvious, but not when there's I'm just looking at a note here. On a question. I don't know what I've written. Yeah, so I think there might be, do you know when they have like, we're doing a interview with a prisoner and they go in and they interview. So I think he might get something proposed to him either now or upcoming because of this energy. So at the moment, this energy that's behind this and the dynamics of each side with the Netflix, with the plea of his innocence, with this kind of a speech that he will make a statement if he's retrialed, unless he gets a very strong lawyer that he sees says no, and he's succeeding so far. You got his retrial thing. I think the judge is going to be like, present what you have and we'll see if we'll look into it again. That's the energy I get. But you know, like prison interviews or something, but also he might make a statement if there's a retrial. Can they have a retrial after 10 years or open it to do a trial again? I don't know what's happening there, but it's kind of like he wants to speak. He's got an itch to speak, okay? I also get, by the way, he had like a bit of an injury on his hands. I don't know, or his hand. So the time away, the two burglars, probably it means there was a burglary. You have to let me know. And the time is a bit all jumbled because when was the burglars? When was she exed? And the DNA to me is the biggest thing. But there's definitely, this was planned, and that's why he told Amber what he did. And it was just, it felt more complicated to him money-wise, and also the stage she was at. And apparently, you know, for him it was like she was putting more and more pressure and being more and more stressful. I don't think she was working, was she? So it was kind of money, and mainly the money motive, and it was kind of very similar to Chris Watts, get them out the way because this divorce will take forever, and the money. And also I think there's something behind her with some sort of inheritance. And there was a question I wanted to ask. I'm not really feeling much remorse. I feel like his energy is kind of stuck, focused on him. Like, I need to liberate myself, I need to speak. Very much in the ego frame. When it comes to thinking about what happened, that she's no longer alive, he's kind of like in this stuck energy. It's kind of like, do you know where it's like, I can't think of that right now, I need to move on from it. It's that kind of energy, and it goes back to his own kind of mission to be innocent and out. It's kind of that. It's the stubbornness around he needs to be careful, because he could be quite self-sabotaging in this energy. Like when it comes to thinking of her, I won't be surprised that if he has bad anger moments or stuff like that, because he's trying to divert his energy, but it's kind of like a self-sabotage kind of energy around this. But the main energy, I'm interested for the next card. Yeah, the main energy is kind of like for him to liberate himself from prison, more or less, than how he's feeling in terms of remorse or anything like that. Like he's very much in a stalemate, unhealed situation of like, I don't want to think about what's happened, I don't want to reflect on what's happened. It's kind of like blocking it, if you understand what I'm saying. I think I've covered everything that I did want to cover. I probably channeled more than I asked questions. I do want to say though, there's something that tells me there was a new law or conviction that came out behind this case. So I don't know if it's the way he was convicted, or a new law, or maybe it could even be around the baby. There's something that was brought out. I feel that energy. Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups. Let's see. Yeah. Last card. There was a celebration of a new law, legislation, or act, or something, in terms of that was actually introduced, and her family were part of bringing this to be introduced. I'm going to research that actually, see if it was something announced or not, but there's something around that as well. Okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this, and we can definitely see, keep a lookout to see what happens. If you enjoyed it and you want a part 2, if there's developments, or a check-in on the organization or the dynamics behind this, we can do that. As well, I'd like to hear your thoughts. The X penalty, the deletion penalty, versus life in prison, which one do you think is worse? It's a very interesting discussion. I think it's interesting because multiple reasons. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.